Next question is from Stone.
Hey, my boy.
On step 4 of the FOO. He's on step 4 of the FOO. And his company offers an ESPP that vests immediately with a 15% discount. Would you advise selling immediately to build and to help build my 6-month emergency fund, or hold it for retirement savings?
Hold on, I'll read the question for me again because
Sure.
I want to make sure I got it down.
His company offers an ESPP that vests immediately with a 15% discount. Would you advise selling immediately to help build a 6-month emergency fund, or hold it for retirement savings?
Okay, got it.
And he's on step 4 of the FOO.
We got to think about the financial order of operations. You got to write. If you want to get your own free copy, non-laminated, go to moneyguy.com/resources.
You could laminate
and you
it.
can laminate it and download our financial order of operations, because the question that Stone is asking is actually perfectly answered by the financial order of operations, because he noted that he's in step 4, which step 4 is emergency reserves. However, he also noted that there's an employee stock purchase plan with no handcuffs on it. And when I say no handcuffs, meaning that it's immediately vested, immediately actionable. Brian, where would that fall on the financial order
he
of
said it
operations?
has a 15% discount.
Yep.
And I'd also be curious, because Stone didn't give the details. A lot of times with these employee stock purchase plans, when you hear the acronym ESPP, it's employee stock purchase plan. It's even better than the 15%. It's either the lowest price, either the beginning or the end of the period. So I bet it's even better than 15%. Well, we consider when it's like that, it's pretty much a guarantee. That falls under employer match, and you don't want to leave that free 15% sitting there. However, y'all know we've answered this question. Your human capital should be separated from your investment capital so you can build that independence. And you really don't want to get too much of your human capital and your investment capital put into the same basket. So we usually try to put the guardrails, even for something that's really good like this, at around 10% of your total investable assets. Try to keep it below that. So I would encourage, and I'll let Bo, you do the rest of this, but I would encourage, take advantage of this, the 15% as part of step 2. But step 4 is a very important step. So that's why you're going to need to create a systematic process to where you're not letting this money build. You need to be, just like you have dollar cost averaging into assets, you can dollar cost average or create a systematic way to get out of things as well.
Yeah, I think as you're thinking about working through the financial order of operations, taking advantage of the employee stock purchase plan makes tons of sense. But if they tell you, hey, you can go ahead and liquidate immediately, there's no holding period, you don't have to make it a qualifying disposition, it's okay to have it be a disqualifying disposition, you still come out ahead on that, even if you're having to pay income tax on the bargain element that you're receiving on the ESPP, you still are coming out ahead. So as I'm thinking through this, I would consider, and this is not specific advice for you, but these are the things I think about. All right, I am going to take advantage of the ESPP. I'm then going to immediately liquidate those shares, and I'm going to build up my step 4 emergency fund. And then after that, I'm going to keep taking advantage of the ESPP, and then I might begin to liquidate that so that I can go fund my Roth IRA, and so then I can go fund my HSA. And then I'm going to keep taking advantage of the ESPP, and I might think about, okay, how can I do that in conjunction with maxing out my employer plan? And then when I get to step 7, when I start getting to hyperaccumulation, then I start thinking about, okay, how much exposure to my employer plan do I want to make sure that I continue to maintain, understanding that both my investment capital as well as my human capital are tied into this company. So I want to make sure I'm doing that well.
Well, and also I think around steps 6 and 7 is when you'll probably also start thinking about, is there a better way to do the ESPP from a tax standpoint too? You could create your own little systematic process. This is the fun stuff we get to do as financial planners. That's why when I see all the trolls who talk about financial planning is so boring, all these guys do is just buy an index fund, you don't need a financial planner. I'm like, do y'all realize what real financial planners do? They help you figure out this type of stuff where you can navigate this to make sure you're maximizing all this, as well as when you get to retirement and you want to do Roth conversion strategy, you want to do income tax projections. It's so beyond investments. If you don't think you need a financial planner, you probably don't. Your life is simple enough. You don't need it. Keep leaning into all of our free content. That's why we do this. But complexity, loves to track down us successful folks. And don't worry, we'll leave the lights on for you when you get to that point.